Greetings, everyone. My name is Micah Russell. I'm from Colorado in the US, and what follows is a brief presentation on my Climate Justice and Faith project. I situated this project within the context of my work at Western Colorado University. I'm the Dean of the School of Environment and Sustainability, and one of the problems that I identified was that nowhere in our curriculum were we exploring the intersection of religion, faith, spirituality with environmentalism and sustainability. So I was eager to design and deliver a course, and that's exactly what I did. This was certainly a team approach because in higher education you can't do anything alone. So I had staff and faculty helping me sort out the credits and the trip fees, and then I worked with external partners to arrange lodging and site visits and so forth. I also used graduate students to lead the undergraduates through some project work. Essentially, this was a 1-credit seminar, so about 45 hours of engagement together, where we learned how and why members of world religions are leading the way on issues of climate justice. For students in the US, that's not so common. And so it's really important to me to present lecture material and case studies that demonstrated why people of faith are called to do this work in their religious context, and then the different strategies that they employ to do that with their congregations, with their various sanghas or other religious institutions. And then, of course, we covered some of the basics of the principles of climate justice, and we participated in a number of tours and ceremonies to make it experiential. What you see here is a picture of the retreat center. So we did this course over a 4-day period. It was very intense, living together and diving deep into this content. And I really loved that format because it brought out the best in the students. Here's a look at the schedule that we used. We went on a pilgrimage walk to a Buddhist stupa, and that really set the tone for respectful intercultural dialogue. And it was a great way to kick off the experience. Then we had lecture, we had case studies, we had films, we had in-depth discussions, we had contemplative writing exercises, we had group projects and presentations, and then, of course, site visits. We visited a Shinto shrine, a Hindu ashram, and a Buddhist temple. So it was a jam-packed schedule, but very fulfilling. Some of the types of things that the students worked on, they had some readings that they needed to do, some short essays they needed to do before even coming on the trip so that they were prepared for conversation. And I have to give credit to the Center for Climate Justice and Faith for inspiring the questions I used for those essays. And then the discussions we had, the extended discussions, were informed by recordings of talks that the faculty at the Center for Action and Contemplation have given, as well as a lot of the material that I assembled. They had to work on a group project and make a presentation. After the trip, they wrote an essay reflecting on where they would situate their vocation, and for many that was a new term, but where they would situate their vocation in terms of engaging with climate justice issues and religious communities. And then the grad students had a little bit of extra work where they needed to make an application to a relevant conference or fellowship. Now, the group project was fun. I gave them a lot of leeway to explore their own ideas, and what they came up with was a proposal for a new campus club. So in that way, we're bringing what we learned back to campus and making change here. And in making that proposal, that pitch, they came up with a club constitution, a community outreach plan, an action plan, etc. The student feedback was really positive across the board. My favorite quote here is, "Thanks again for such a thought-provoking retreat. It was a transformational experience and helped me rediscover what spirituality means to me." So for me, there's no higher compliment than that. And I'll just leave it there. So lessons learned, what went well? The format, the retreat style course was really great. The site visits were really, really wonderful. What could be improved? The schedule. I will tweak the schedule before I offer this again. Just because the first time you teach something, you don't really know how long they're going to need for discussion or how long they're going to need to work on their group project, etc. So along the way, we actually had to let go of some of the schedule to allow for that very rich and deep dialogue to keep going. And so we modified as we went. But I'll take those lessons and tighten things up next time. So for me, the quality of the conversation and the sincerity of the participation in these rituals and site visits was unbelievable. It was such a joy. I was quite nervous going into this because I've never offered a course that delves into religious material, and I've never, in front of my students, modeled my faith and my spirituality. So I had to really put myself out there, and I was delighted, first of all, that people even signed up for this course, but I was also delighted that the feedback was really, really good, and that it seemed to be a very meaningful and moving experience for the students. Here's a few more pictures. We had a great time, and I think we learned a lot together, myself included. And then finally, if you'd like to see a video montage, I have shared this with a few people, but you can search on YouTube for Dr. Michael Russell's courses, and you'll find my page, and you'll be able to find a montage of our experience in a really beautiful setting, a very remote and beautiful setting that is experiencing climate justice concerns. So check it out if you like.